Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Peas, and today I'm going to be talking about the 1986 film Troll. We've all heard of that little bastard wizard Harry Potter, him and his ginger-faced sidekick running around Hogwarts getting into all sorts of mischief. But did you know he wasn't the first Harry Potter to get mixed up with witches, warlocks and magic? Because long before all of that, there was another little menace called Harry Potter. Well, Harry Potter Jr. This one has parents and a sister. His dad is not a rotting corpse. His mum is a mum. She washes dishes and doesn't bring much else to the table. And then there's the sister, who's been body swapped with a wizard named Turok, who was turned into a troll, who is now Wendy, the sister. Are you still with me? Troll came out in 1986 and was rated 15, which made it the perfect choice for my sweaty, high blood pressured, permanently angry dad to slap on one evening for me, a not even 10-year-old Peas, and it scared the absolute shit out of me. Killer dolls, tiny aliens, miniature demonic creatures, those were the things that got under my skin as a kid, and from time to time they still do today. Freddy and Jason, they never bothered me. Michael Myers, we'll get to him on another video I'm sure, but the tiny terrors, they terrified me. Probably because they could fit under the bed or lurk in the back of a cupboard. The troll in this film, he's a bit bigger, sure, but the little messed up creatures that he goes on to create, easily small enough to fit under my pillow and creep out at night and put a greasy finger in my eye or in my mouth or something. But going back to the troll, it's a scary bugger. An oversized old man's face on a shrunken dwarf-like body is pretty fucked up. For now though, let me tell you a little bit about what Troll is all about.
Once upon a time when the world was filled with wonder, little creatures shared the earth with humans, and magic was a way of life. Once Upon a Time is now. Empire Pictures presents Troll.
Troll is a 1986 horror fantasy oddity clocking in at an epic 1 hour and 22 minutes that follows the Potter family as they move into a new San Francisco apartment building. Things go sideways almost immediately when young Wendy Potter is taken and replaced by Turok, a powerful wizard who was transformed into a troll centuries earlier. Now, wearing Wendy's likeness, Turok prowls the apartment complex pretending to be her. A version of her though who's gone bloody apeshit. The real Wendy lies unconscious in a transparent, spell-forged coffin thing hidden deep within his growing domain, while he uses her appearance to seed the building with the foundations of his new magical realm. One by one, the building's eccentric tenants are transformed into bizarre creatures, pods, or full-blown fairy tale nightmares as Turok reshapes each apartment into a chunk of his lost kingdom. The only person who notices something is wrong is Wendy's brother, Harry Potter Jr., who teams up with Eunice St. Clair, a witch living upstairs who knows Turok's history and how dangerous he is. The film becomes a race to stop Turok before he fully restores his magical world and wipes out the human one. Cue trolls, goblins, pulsating pods, musical numbers that feel like fever dreams, and a final scene that scared Little Peas. Now going back to Little Peas, I can't remember really caring about the story. It was more the bedtime dread that had lodged itself into my head. I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, absolutely certain that one of my brothers had always been a troll. Not turned into one, not possessed, just a troll. And that watching this film had somehow broken whatever spell had been keeping his true identity hidden. Neil, that's his name. He always had a suspicious aura. I'd lie there in the dark, waiting for the floorboards to creak, fully expecting him to loom over my bed and peel back whatever human disguise he'd been wearing since his birth. Then he'd produce some filthy little enchanted ring that he'd been keeping up his butt or something, and then jab it straight into my eye. Troll tricks you at first. The music, the soft lighting, and the innocent vibe overall. Then Sonny Bono shows up, pervert mustache twitching, his libido set to button mushroom, looking like a man who carries roofies everywhere he goes, just in case. And then the troll stabs him in the arm with a magical ring. That's the moment that the mask drops. This is not a kid's film. Sonny's face inflates like it's trying to abandon his skull. His eyes turn milky white. Then he's suddenly coated in this kind of slime that looks like he's been the star of a bukkake party. Before you can fully process what the fuck is happening, he mutates into a giant green pea pod looking thing. Then this thing immediately bursts and spews vines across the apartment. Out of the mess crawl a selection of trolls or goblins or whatever the fuck they are. There's a pocket-sized creature from the Black Lagoon, a small man with the body of a spider, and several other tiny abominations wearing the unmistakable faces of middle-aged men from 1986. From there, Turok, still passing as Wendy, moves through the apartment complex, jabbing people with this magical ring. Those seeds erupt into their own sealed-off ecosystems. The film doesn't explain the mechanics. It just treats human beings turning into horticulture as just routine collateral. I assume that everyone in the apartment goes through the same violent, swelling transformation that Sonny did, but he's the only one that the film lingers on, probably cheaper that way, and avoids pushing the film rating into an 18, perhaps. I haven't forgotten Harry Potter Jr., by the way. It's just that he barely registers in any of this. Even without the troll situation, he has the presence of a kid who gets overwhelmed by his own shoes. He spends most of the film crying and shouting or sprinting to the nearest adult. His entire plan for dealing with the troll is to hand the issue over to Eunice St. Clair. Eunice doesn't even pretend Harry has any sort of potential. She doesn't train him or guide him or offer him a single piece of advice. She handles everything herself. Harry might technically be the protagonist, but Eunice is the one doing the actual work, while he struggles with the basic concept of responsibility. I mean, later in the film, when Eunice is transformed into a tree stump thing, Harry finally moves. Steps up would be too generous a thing to say. He drifts through the troll forest, finds his sister, and is immediately smacked upside the head by a winged troll monster. It's Turok who actually goes on to kill this giant monster, while Harry collects his sister and runs off. As I said, he is irrelevant. Without warning, about halfway through the film, it drops into a musical number performed by the little troll goblin things that have been popping out of the pods. Can you imagine this happening in The Exorcist or I Spit on Your Grave? Anyway, that song burrowed into my skull for years. The creatures singing, their rubber faces, moist, swollen eyes, and expressions that look sculpted by someone who hates children. A choir of malformed puppets worming into my 8-year-old head. The film screams 1980s, especially in its acceptance to Wendy's friendship with Malcolm, a grown-ass man in his late 20s. The parents freeze when they meet him, not because of his age as such, but because he's a little person. Harry Potter Sr. doesn't think, oh shit, a grown man with my 9-year-old daughter, and punch Malcolm in his neck. No, the parents put on awkward smiles that say, yeah, we expected you to be younger, but we did not expect a little person. But we're all inclusive in this family. Honest. And while we're on the subject of questionable age gaps, Harry Potter Jr. clearly has a bit of a thing for the elderly witch Eunice. He interacts with her in a way that would suggest that he is usually shot down the moment he opens his mouth in front of a female. But he can't believe his luck with this woman. The 80s, a time where age was just a number. On reflection, the plot of Troll doesn't make much sense. The opening suggests that Turok has been travelling about and he's ended up in this particular apartment block where Eunice also just happens to live. When Harry Potter Jr. asks her later on in the film why she's there, she tells him she just needs to be, which is the kind of answer you give when you'd rather not explain the plot. Maybe her magic nudged her into moving there because she sensed Turok would eventually appear. Or maybe the stupid scriptwriter just shrugged and hoped the audience wouldn't think too hard. Troll is a strange hybrid that balances horror with a weirdly child-friendly fantasy tone. It has all the ingredients of a family film: the quirky household, the everyday chaos of moving home, and the sitcom-level drama of a brother dealing with a sister who's been replaced by a troll. There's magic, whimsy, and a surface-level innocence that feels designed for kids, right up until the film decides to stop pretending and drags everything into something far stranger and far less safe. And despite the questionable friendships, the conveniently placed witch, and Harry Potter Jr. being about as heroic as a man counting the wheat in his Weetabix, the whole thing stays undeniably entertaining. So, the nostalgia, the creatures, the chaos, and the fact it made me fear my brother was a troll for a few nights, I'm giving Troll a 7 out of 10. Not perfect, not polished, but absolutely memorable. And sometimes that's enough. Have you seen Troll? What did you make of it? If you've watched something unsettling, or have a recommendation, or have a film review request, throw it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing if you enjoyed yourself. If you didn't, that's unfortunate, but I still appreciate the company. Unless you're a troll, in which case, leave now. Peace be with you. Always. You thought I was going to leave without any mention of the dad dance, didn't you? Here you go, take it away, Harry Potter Sr.
He's the clown, absurd and loud.